So there is a lot of enthusiasm about how autonomous vehicles are going to transform urban life in the near future. But what is actually the role of location technology in achieving smarter mobility in cities? Cities are actually busy, messy, dirty places. They're full of people. And in cities today, we're constantly balancing the efficiency of urban services with a growing number of people. So to crack sustainability needs, we really have to get this right. We have to scale transportation solutions for more and more people effectively. And location tools are a very important part of that. So let me show you how. A recent study by McKinsey found that smart mobility applications have the potential to improve and reduce commute times by 15 to 20%. That's huge. If you look at the ecosystem, all these players really are dependent on data, but having more data, lets them drown in a sea that won't help anybody. So to succeed, we have to make sure that they benefit from this data. The way this works at Mapbox is that we think that only insights and, or even better, the context that this data can provide is going to make all the difference. And we're the platform that can help you provide this context to your customers. So as consumer apps get smarter and smarter at displaying millions of real-time data points, they're raising the bar of what's expected of data visualization in general. In a world of SnapMap, digital town halls need to live up to these expectations. Context is what helps us provide and harness hyperconnectivity, but not without kind of getting all this data overload. What I mean by that is, one example that's already available is augmented navigation. In the future, these solutions are not anymore screen-based. All this data on a cloud somewhere can actually help you as you're roaming around and exploring the city. Of course, for policymakers and decision makers, they're not required to analyze all this data themselves. They can, like with the right tools and the right integrations of private sector stakeholders, they can actually be able to understand and get the full picture of and all the pieces of the puzzle. This is a demo of Freemix. Their platform gives you access to a wealth of contextually relevant, conveniently aggregated data that makes inclusive transit planning for the first time relatively easy. What you're seeing here in this demo, it is adding, does it do it? Yeah, okay, that didn't work, that demo. So Gartner estimates 11 billion connected devices by the end of 2018. The more investment there will be in sensors, the more assets need to be tracked, the more data needs to be processed, the more insights need to be surfaced, shared, and communicated. We need to be smarter about all of this. So it doesn't really matter what we look at here. This is a demo for a food delivery service, but it could be a ride-hailing service or the offering of My Taxi or Siffy that we heard earlier. Having highly custom on-demand navigation based on dynamic corporate data streams is really the key to their competitive advantage. So you see how we're adding more and more pickup and drop-off stops here, and that automatically updates the route. You only need one driver in this case. This saves dollars and a lot of money actually for the delivery company, but on a macro level, this ultimately helps improve urban traffic, and that helps to save costs for public sector, and that helps to save and improve the lives of the people that spend less time in traffic. At Mapbox, we collect and process 225 million miles of mobile sensor data every day. This is a big number, I know. The data comes from devices that use apps that are powered by our Map SDKs. That could be things like Snapchat, Tinder, the Weather Channel, or Lonely Planet. And the more moving connected devices out there, the more data we get to process in real time, and that helps us and our customers be more sustainable. The way this works is, so for example, we have live traffic for Kraków. This data helps optimize any type of routing requests, and that gives you better estimated arrival times for your service. If you think of electric mobility, that could be, for example, help you reduce range anxiety, and that in the end is going to connect to the sensors that are of the car and improve the service even further. So as a platform, we provide the building blocks for developers to get the full control over the driving experience. The new Vision SDK turns the mobile camera into an extra sensor that helps you get better navigation, and the driver uses also AR to improve, to know where they're going. But behind the scenes, it uses deep learning to analyze imagery on the fly, on the device right there, and then only sends the really important insights up to the cloud. That really helps reduce latency. So the future of autonomous driving is really about all these smart collaborations. For high-precision maps to get into the vehicles, it's really important to, it is very difficult to do that over the air. So our HD vector tiles help mobilize roadbook product to get this right and send all this high-definition information into the vehicles. We're also powering the experience of Rimax, new electric concept cars. But then even before there is more and more electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles on our streets, we're already always connected through our phones. So by adding voice control to the navigation app, it's called Bosch Driving app, that makes this transition really easy and makes driving really much safer. So yeah, eventually we won't need to have someone sitting in the driver's seat anymore. So then we can actually bring new data streams into the experience and show what really matters to the end user right there in the car. This is a concept by the Chinese automaker Byton. So eventually for these cities, for cities in general, it's very interesting to keep pushing of what's possible when we have all this data available on the fly. These augmented billboards that you see here bring data into the real world, but they keep, in a way, like physical objects out of the real world. So it's really interesting to imagine what's possible if we're all more attuned to this digital layer and using it as we go through about our cities. So I want to close with 2 takeaways here. 3, actually, sorry. First of all, it's not anymore about putting data on a map. It's about providing context. The second one is sustainability starts with better insights from this data, but then how can we actually prepare for the data streams that we're ingesting today, and how can we scale this to bring in new inputs in the near future? And lastly, number 3, if we see the city as a platform where we bring many actors together, it's super important to consider that these public-private partnerships are where it's going to be in the future. And we have to be smart about that. So whatever investment we're doing now, it should be into custom open systems that allow for more stakeholders to be added later on. And it's really what it's going to, this is really what the future is going to be about. So I hope you understand this. Well, this is it for me for today. I would love to know what you're working on, what you're building. Please do get in touch either online or find me in the crowd. Thank you.